If there is a message for us today, I believe it is to learn to live from our heart in love. These short lessons, hopefully, will help to inspire you to live with purpose, love passionately, and inspire others. We are the change agent our world needs. I'm Helen Toews. Step into the river today with me to explore the mysteries of God. They are not hidden from us, but for us to discover. What I want to do tonight, and I actually have taken because I want to take us into another aspect of I am, and challenge us a little bit in something that we already have information of, and to bring some of the science and the spirituality together in our I am-ness to the depth of it, and realize we are far more than we realize that we are. We even in this practice of the I am-ness, I sort of felt this week, as we have, like, as you know, on the river, we've taught, we have lessons that we've done now for, I think it's 4 years. And one of them is the God code of really how and truly how we are created. And I wanted to revisit it but revamp it, because there's a lot more information that if we totally understand who we are in our I am-ness, talk about a consciousness shift, and all of the things that we are talking about the consciousness shift that we're in. It's probably one of the most unusual things, because it's so personal to every one of us, and there's such great responsibility to each one of us to come into that place. This isn't something that is just sort of light reading but it's not a difficult thing at all. So can I do that with you tonight? I'm just going to throw up this PowerPoint. I used to do the PowerPoints all the time, and I want to come to a guided meditation at the end that I'm also going to put to music so that you can have it, and also you'll have this PowerPoint, so you don't have to take notes. You don't have to take notes. And I'm going to go quite quickly through it. I'm not going to preach my way through it, so that you will have this information. It's one of those subjects along the way that has had, like, literally thousands of people that have had interest in it, and as we're growing in it is one thing, but as we're implementing now what we know, it's one thing to know something about a subject, and to me the is a greater thing that we're experiencing it by engaging in it, and having that intimacy with the Father in this process. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint here, because my lovely friend showed me how to do that. So I'm screen sharing. Okay, where are you, Kathy? Is this showing up?
We're seeing part of it. If you do the full screen, maybe
There?
I'll let you know. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So that's just the first thing. I will get this. There we go. Okay. I'm going to take pictures out of there. All right. No, I have just gone too far. Okay. Yeah, so this is an old, an old picture here. But as we talked about last week, we talked about the name of God, and also some other things that I'm going to try and get rid of things off the screen here that that were part of. Oh, goodness me. Sorry, guys. I'm going to learn how to do this. Optimize video. I don't have a video. All right. Last week, we opened up our conversation on God, and in particular, in the name of God. In Genesis 1, it uses the word Elohim, and we find that the interpretation is plural, and the questions that have come up to its definition. Other question was, does God have a name? Or does the word name refer to God's nature? Those were a couple of the things that came up last week. Before we continue that conversation, I'd like to do a review on this old subject that we did here in the river 474 years ago. This review is to establish our plumb line so that when we explore new information, it will be less confusing. Science and spirituality is coming together and helping us to understand what's been a mystery, and these mysteries continue. But some of the answers to date, I hope, will inspire. We know, first line in Genesis, in the beginning, God began the frequency, the vibration. He spoke it. In all of creation, there's only one thing created in his image. This is so important for us to get. And that's Genesis 5:2. He created them male and female. He created us. He called them both man. Adam, mankind, human. He made you, me, us. Why is there such a controversy about man or mankind? Could it be that there's something much deeper than our arguments over rainbow flags, gender bias, sexual identity? What if all the issues about being male, female, names, pronouns, personal rights to create our own idea is actually hiding a bigger problem, but also revealing a great mystery? There's a war on for our humanity. I know that we can all feel that. It's a deliberate accosting of our very substance as human beings, and it comes against the very reason for our life here on earth. You know, our life here on earth is the very essence of our I am-ness. Human beings have been here on earth a long time. Many believe we've evolved from lower species. Darwin says we evolved. However, as we will see, that is not our story. What we really understand, what if, don't you love what if questions? I absolutely love them. What if we really understood when we arrived on this planet? What if we understood why we are here? What if there is more to the story that we have read in Genesis? What do we know now that was not written in the text? We've lived in two worlds, one that is seen and explained through scriptures. The other world is unseen till now. And science and spirituality are coming together to give a new picture of who we are. I think Jacques, as he was sharing, gave a good illustration of that tonight about living in two worlds. And sometimes those two worlds, they don't collide, but they're expanded in our dreams. The unseen world, the mapping of the genetic code known as DNA, is probably the most important scientific breakthrough of the new millennium. The Human Genome Program was a groundbreaking effort that revolutionized our understanding of genetics and biology. Its completion marked a significant milestone in science, providing a detailed blueprint of human DNA and opening new frontiers in medicine and biotechnology. The science is quite amazing, in particular for us right now when we are asking questions such as, what is divinity? What do we do with the questions that are controversial? We're beginning to put some information together to answer that question. Let's define divinity. Divinity is the powers or forces that transcend perceived human limits. I'm going to read that again. Powers or forces that transcend perceived human limits. Are we that? Or are we the adage, oh, I'm only human? We've all heard that. And maybe you've said it. I know I have. When I come to the end of something, well, I'm only human. Can we transcend perceived human limits? My answer is yes. Everything we're exploring is about consciousness, our divinity in particular, and our relation to God to align with Christ consciousness. One of the reasons I wanted to do this in a PowerPoint like this, where you can easily share it, or that is to establish the fact that as we continue in our weeks in conversation and as things shift into maybe some more mystical areas, and by definition we may come and come into this place where we even question, do we really know who God is? I don't want us to do that. I want us to be in conversation for sure. And I want to explore it, but I want us to realize that it's about our consciousness and divinity, and that there is nothing more important than our relationship to God and to align with Christ's consciousness. When questions arise, like what's God's name? Or could God still be God and understood differently than we have been taught by custom or religious dogma? Can science and spirituality come together to answer these questions? Here's what we know. We are, in essence, 50 trillion cells in this body that we are aware of, that can self-regulate itself. And if we are the only creation that does that on Earth, where did we come from? And is there an underlying intelligence that created us? We would all say on this call, yes, there is. And yet, last week we found ourselves questioning, what is that? Where did we come from? Was it the Genesis story? Was it gradual evolution? Was it many ancient cultures that say there's a genetic intervention, and some say we're closely related to family with the stars? We haven't even touched those kind of things. Science tells us a story and has had data for this story for many years. It seems that this is the time where it's becoming told. Science used to tell us that the universe was empty space and inactive. Today, we have learned that it is conscious, intelligent, it's active, and it's alive. Evolution doesn't fit the findings. As well, the research now says there's no physical evidence for human evolution. In 1987, science reverse engineered DNA from fossilized remains from Neanderthal and found that we did not match the DNA of the anatomically modern human. This story, of course, is much longer, but it's easily found to study the details for serious studies of biology. Just go, you can look it up, but it's true. We did not match in those studies the DNA of the anatomical modern man. Something happened 200,000 years ago, and it happened all at once. Why am I doing this study? Because some of us have a 6,000-year time frame from when humans came on this earth, and that settles it. But now science is telling us that that's not exactly correct in the numbers, that something happened 200,000 years ago. And so who is this anatomically modern human? What can they do that primitive primates could not? Well, that anatomical human, a modern human, when it came into being, we were able to self-regulate. We had supercognition. We have super intuition, super resilience. We have 1,300 positive biochemical reactions, ability to create matter. We came into being with the ability to operate with compassion, to release hormones as needed, and ability to contact divinity. The question is, where did we come from and what gave us those abilities? It was the discovery of human chromosome 2, and don't glaze over because this will be really short, but it's interesting. It played a key role in some of the unique abilities and traits that set humans apart from other primates. While the fusion of two ancestral ape chromosomes into human chromosome 2 isn't solely responsible for these differences, It reflects significant evolutionary changes that contributed to our species' unique capabilities. There is a mystery attached to it, and it's found in chromosome 2. Chromosome 2 is the second largest human chromosome, 8% of the DNA in each cell. It defines our humanness. It gives us the communication ability to have heart-brain coherence, self-regulate, regulate our genes. It's the relic of chromosome 2 is a relic of an ancient DNA fusion of two ancestral chromosomes, but it was found in an unnatural way. When cells split, generally they're protected by telomeres that form on the ends. And what they found was that in chromosome 2, it had a new gene map where the telomeres fused together. This happened, but science says it was not under natural conditions, and it was 200,000 years ago. Also, at the same time, the same discovery period, chromosome number 7 was tweaked. This is what science found out. All of a sudden, it happened, and as a result, excuse me, we could speak. The modern human, the anatomical modern human, now had speech, and it could sing with consciousness. What are the chances of these two things changing and occurring at once? Well, it's 1 in 10 to the 600, which is beyond impossible. It wasn't a fluke. It was not random. There had to be an intervention, and there had to be a purpose or a reason. Are we related to a higher form of intelligence? Is it possible that there is a message that reveals our origin? Random chance cannot account for the complex design of DNA. Francis S. Collins was the director of the National Human Genome Research Institute and oversaw the Human Genome Project. And he said, one of the greatest tragedies of our time is this impression that has been created, excuse me, that science and religion have to be at war. I don't see it at all. Excuse me, please. And I don't see that as necessary at all. Sir Frederick Hoyle calculated the odds that just the proteins of an amoeba arising by chance has one chance in 10 to 40,000, 40,000 power, and the odds of you winning the lottery every week of your life from the age of 18 to 99 are better than the odds of a single-celled organism being formed by random chance. Or, this is my favorite, like the probability of a tornado sweeping through a junkyard and lands as an assembled 747. The evidence all points to the unavoidable conclusion that we are not the product of chance or evolution, but the result of intelligent design. And this discovery has lasting physical and spiritual implications. A direct link can easily be found between the building blocks of life and the creator of the universe. And it was found that the human DNA contains 23 pairs of chromosomes made up of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon, and their acidic counterparts. Encoded with these elements is the amazing blueprint of life. Science used ancient languages to illustrate their findings. Do you know that cuneiform, Sumerian, Arabic, and Hebrew are just some of the ancient methods of written communication, and look at their similarities. Cuneiform, Sumerian, the Arabic alphabet, and of course the Hebrew alphabet as we know it. They're just 4 of it. And I use them to illustrate because in a Harvard study, science looked at the structure of the DNA cells in our body and saw their makeup as nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. And they used the ancient Hebrew letters in this case, along with the elements of the periodic table, and in particular, the number of their atomic mass. Scientists found that that the numbers of these elements also correlate with the gematria, which means number values of ancient languages. They saw that each element of our DNA has a corresponding atomic mass number, and it correlates to the gematria, the numbers of the ancient Hebrew alphabet, and they show us something very mysterious. Atomic mass is a mystical and unique property. It's not weight, but how much space it occupies. When the number is reduced, it matches the gematria of the Hebrew letter code. The gematria is a numerical system by which Hebrew letters correspond to numbers. The system, developed by practitioners of Kabbalah, the Jewish mysticism, derived from Greek influence and became a tool for interpreting some biblical text. In gematria, each Hebrew letter is represented, as we saw, by a number. For instance, the word Aleph is the number 1, Bet number 2, etc. In summary, translating the code of DNA to a meaningful language was to apply the discovery that converts elements to letters and then to matching numerical values related to the ancient Hebrew language. This is just a picture of the periodic table. They found out that hydrogen has the atomic mass of 1, and it correlates with the Hebrew letter Yod, and which is the number 10, and which is actually 1. 1 plus 0 is 10. Nitrogen comes, okay, I don't know if these things on the back here are, sorry guys, is the nitrogen, the atomic is the number 7, but the atomic mass number is 1 plus 4, which is 5, which is the Hebrew letter He and number 5. Oxygen, the atomic mass number is 15, or 1 plus 5, which equals 6. Hebrew letter Vav, number 6. Atomic mass for carbon is 12. 1.2 is 3. Hebrew letter is Gimel, and it's the number 3. Each number has a corresponding Hebrew letter, as we just saw, but in review, hydrogen, number 1, is Yod. Nitrogen, number 5, He. Oxygen, number 6, Vav. Carbon, number 3, is Gimel. You know, when you add those up, you get the number 15, and 1 plus 5 is the number of man. In the Lost Gospel of Thomas, it says, "Let those who seek continue seeking until they find. When they find, they will become troubled. When they become troubled, they will be astonished. Recognize what is in your sight, and that which is hidden from you will become plain to you." Isn't that wonderful? Okay. Yod, He, Vav, Gimel. Our DNA may be read literally as translatable alphabet within each of our cells. The odds of these 4 letters randomly creating a meaningful message from the Hebrew alphabet are only 1 in 234,256, or the possibility of 0.00042%. And that's in the book, The God Code, written by Greg Braden on page 120. What does our Bible say? And is there more to a story? Yes. In Exodus 3:14, it says, Lord God, and the word Lord is spelled Yod He Vav He. And this is the sacred name that we're to use, it says. Exodus 3:15, God says, moreover to Moses, "Thus shall you say to the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name, Yod He Vav He, forever. This is my memorial to all generations." Was God trying to reveal his name? Name is not simply a word that is used to identify someone or something. A name is meant to convey the nature and often the description of something. I want us to change our thinking a bit here. What if God was not telling Moses what name to call him, but was conveying his nature to him. Moses would have understood what each letter actually meant. He would have understood Yod, He, Vav, and He, that they all have deep meanings. What if both Exodus 3:14, 15 reveals to Moses for the first time that God's nature is Yod, He, Vav, He? Remember, in Hebrew, it's read right to left. Again, each number has corresponding number letter. 1 hydrogen, Yod, 5 nitrogen, He, 6 oxygen, Vav, 5 nitrogen, He. Yod, He, Vav, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen are all invisible elements, and this is a part of God's nature. We actually share in the attributes of our Creator, yet we're also set apart by what makes us different. Yod He Vav plus Gimel is the code of our human bodies. We have in our bodies both invisible and visible elements. Yod He Vav, we have the invisible aspect of God, and Gimel means that we are the carbon beings that are seen on the earth. By nature, we are both seen and unseen substances of God, just like it says about Jesus, about Yeshua. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also gave himself likewise, took part of the same. Hebrews 2:14. Exodus 3:15, this is my name forever. But here's something interesting from the Talmud of Jerusalem. There was a play on words in Hebrew, and this is how it was interpreted. In Exodus 3:15 says, this is my name to remain hidden. Hidden where? Is there a place that the nature of God can be hidden? In our DNA. Now we know about the mystery of chromosome 2 and chromosome 7, the mystery of knowing that other than by a divine hand, we, as anatomically modern humans, would not exist. Scientists actually discovered that there is a literal text message within every cell in our body, that the creator of this amazing work actually signed his name, and even more than that, he put his nature into all 50 trillion cells in our body. In summary, Yod He, 50% of the message within ourselves translates to God eternal. Vav Gimel, the remaining 50% of our genetic code translates to within the body. Yod He Vav Gimel, the code which is in each cell of our being, has the literal translation, God eternal, within the body. His name hidden in us. The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. Yod He Vav He is rich in its discovery of meaning and directly embraces the unlimited nature of God. The Yod is anciently portrayed as a symbol of a hand. It's the entire hand or closed hand. The hand denotes power, and figuratively, it denotes ownership. Yod is the seminal letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It cannot be divided like other letters. It signifies the oneness of what is translated Elohim. The Hebrew scholars say that when you put pen to paper, the dot becomes the creative force in every letter. Nothing begins without its power. Yod is creative light. It indicates God's omnipresence. It's the 0 point. It's the spark of the spirit in everything where spirit and matter connect. The starting point of his presence in all things. And Yod is masculine. How's that for one letter? Hey, it means behold. It's number 5, and it's made of 2 vavs and a yod. It's important to note the yod is not attached. Just like the veil torn, I'm going to take this down here, we can enter into him And as from inside as a window, we can see through it. In Hey, it's a breath of God. Hey, when we say it, we breathe him out. Hey represents divine breath, revelation, and light. Hebrew mystics point to the breath of his mouth and refers to the letter Hey, the breath of the Spirit of the living God, outward, creating. Number 7 is Vav, the power of God to connecting us with himself, binding, uniting heaven and earth, God, man, joining matter and spirit. The elongated Yod also refers to Messiah. Vav is also masculine in gender. Vav signifies a nail, peg, or hook, and it also conveys the meaning of being nailed or being bound together. Vav, the power to connect heaven and earth. The first Vav in God's word is in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens, and that word and is the Vav, the earth. It sets a precedence. Number 5, when in the divine breath, according to Hebrew understanding, when we use Hey at the end of a word, it's when using Hey in a word, when it's inserted in the middle, it's breathed into a name or a situation. It's masculine. It represents the father. Abram became Abraham as God breathed in. He became the father of many nations. Used at the end, a suffix, it represents the feminine, the spark of all creation, the Shekinah, the fruitfulness. Sarai became Sarah, princess. Yod He Vav He. The discovery of God's name within each cell of life reveals a message as well as a promise that transcends any differences that we could ever impose on one another. It holds the promise for each of us to become more than the conditions and limitations of our lives. This promise is shared by every man, woman, and child, ancestor of our global family, as it is the living message encoded within each cell of our bodies. This is a precious gift, and it shares itself in our I am-ness understanding. To engage fully for us not to just have knowledge, but intimate knowing, we must live from the truth that is coded in us. And I want to bring us into a simple meditation reflecting on the nature of God that is in with or within each of us, and that is I am that I am. Now I'm actually going to take us into that. I'm going to see if I can escape my, oh goodness, I'm going to stop the share. There we go. Here I am back in our room. Thank you for letting me go through. Well, now I've just lost this again. Sorry. Oh, here we are. I'm going to take this out. Sorry, I lost all of you. I wanted to go through that. I know I went through it fairly fast and didn't add on too much of it. I wanted you to have that information. And for whatever, some of us are more technically inclined than others, some of us want the background of things. The essence of this that I wanted us all to have is to understand that the I am that we are engaging, the I am-ness that we are positioning ourselves to, is already in us in a fullness that we have not understood. And that it is not something we have to attain to, because it's something we already are. We're already that we're already the Yod He Vav Gimel that is encoded He created us. He put himself into us in a unique way. And the scripture said to be hidden somewhere forever. And he says he will never leave us or forsake us. This whole thing with our I am-ness is with us actually forever. We are already in eternal beings. So when I share with you the importance that and it's just my feeling, my experience in life, to understand and to cooperate with my I am-ness, it actually is something that is released, because now when you know where it is, how it is, it's released from our I am-ness, not to it. It is who we already are. So tonight, I would like, I would like to offer a guided meditation. I don't have music to it tonight, but I would just like to offer it, that we can go through it together. And after tonight, I'm going to ask Bob to take this meditation and put it so that it's also with music, and so that music is extended for another 10 minutes or so that this can become personalized. But I wanted to take this time to share in the Yod He Vav He that is in us, and the I am from each of those letters. The Hebrews call them the living letters. They're alive, and I think that there's much to be said about that. So if you would like to join in, how about just everyone knows what to do. Just be comfortable. You shut your eyes if you want to, and I'm going to just lead you through. Actually, this is something that happened to me before I planned this. I was in my I am time that is hardly ever 3 minutes anymore, and I actually went into this reality, and I was so strengthened by it that I really wanted to share it tonight, and welcome you to have this as one of your options to setting yourself in the I am. It's been a lot of information that you've just got, so let's just take that deep breath and just rest in the reality. Just sort of shake out all the intellectual stuff, and we're just going to enter into I am. Take a deep breath in and just release that breath of God. I am the temple of God's presence in every cell of my body. He has chosen to live in me and be expressed uniquely. I am the image. I am the nature of God. I am chosen for this time to be His expression to this world. I am Yod. I am the hand of God extended. I am Yod, power and peace of God's enclosed hand. I do what I see Him do. I am living by nature and prepared to give to all needs. I am creative. I touch. I heal the sick. I manifest what is needed. I am Yod, the creative essence of the force and power of God. I am Yod, the omnipresence of God. I am that. I am the spark of the Spirit, never separate, always connecting heaven and earth. I am Yod. I am one. I am He. I am the grace of God's nature. I am He, the breath, the fullness of creation, and unlimited. My very breath releases divine nature, the divine will, and divine purpose of God. I am He, open to my world so that I might know God without any barriers. I am releasing blessing to my world with each conscious and unconscious breath from my being and from my nature within. I am rest. I am the conduit for heaven and earth to experience the unity of one. I am He, unlimited. I am He. I am Shekinah. I am He. I am fruitfulness. I am Vav, the power of God, connecting with Himself. I am Vav, binding and uniting heaven and earth, God and man, joining matter and spirit. I am Vav, binding together the power of love, being inseparable as one with creation and my Creator. I am Vav, the intimate knowing of connectedness that binds and strengthens the ways, the truth, the life from I am that I am. I am Yod. I am He. I am Vav. I am God eternal within my body. When you can, just let's come back into the room. I am that I am. Was that a little bit of scientific and spiritual overload, or are you okay? I have one okay thumbs up. I have another two. It's very quiet in this room.
I appreciated the review of the God Code. That was really great. Thank you for pulling that together. Just to bring that back up, what you sowed 4 years ago, and we've been talking about it since, but it's really awesome to have it all put together in one, just to bring that refresher. So thank you, and for that meditation. I can't wait for it to be put to music. I think I'm going to be very eager. I am very eager to sit with that for longer, because this evening it was short. I could tell even just looking at everybody, just like, oh yeah, we just want to savor that and just allow that to percolate. That was beautiful.
Right. Yeah, I will do it a little slower too on I sometimes for myself I find if there's a guided meditation like this that it's sort of nice when I just hear somebody else's voice and I can just go into the sound, right? Into the frequency. And that works. That works. Pat.
When you were going through the meditation, I had this sensing, when you read books about people who have had out of body experiences, they've died
Yeah.
and they're in the hospital and they're looking down. I felt that that was kind of what we were doing. We were like looking down, like we had been raised to a new level and we were looking down. Yeah, it was really cool.
That is cool. Thank you. Thank you. Very cool. Plank family.
All right. I don't know if we're lit very well, but that was very relaxing. And there was music.
Oh,
Yeah, and this is not common for me. I actually heard a frequency
oh, wow.
just background to you. So I am gonna go ahead and say it that whatever music Bob chooses, it's going to resonate at that frequency that I heard. And
Oh,
I don't get that very often, but I even said to Elizabeth, I said, do you hear it? Because
wow.
there was music, there was a frequency to that.
That's really spooky cool. That's kind of nice. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. You know, when something like this is put together, it's sort of been one of my um, uh, very especially favorite topics because I do like when science and spirituality comes together, and that we really are much greater than we have thought of ourselves, right? And when we think of human beings, we think of ourselves as lower creatures, not higher, where we are actually the highest and the most powerful beings on this earth. That's why there's such a war on for our humanness, for uh, because they don't know it, but they want the God that's in us. We want that, and isn't it neat to think that, it's like a painter that has just finished a masterpiece and signed it. And well, that's what he did with us. We're his masterpiece. And then inside of us, he hid his signature. And when I found that out, it changed me. It rocked my world. So you're the best. When you say you're the best, we really mean it. You're the very best. Well,
Isn't that a Tina Turner song? That's what I
is
mean.
it?
Simply the best. Yeah.
Okay. I like Tina Turner, actually. I think she's
Yeah.
kind of
But that was amazing.
it's hard to come out of this and just be chatty, isn't it? Here we are. All right. There's Jake up and up. I get your sign language. I get it's brilliant. Gina?
Thank you. Yeah, that was beautiful. And the things you shared, it was so nice to hear again because I heard them as, oh yeah, that's me.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. You know, it's been ingrained in
Yeah.
us. We've understood it. We understand it, and it is part of who we are. It was very normal to hear, you know. So that was nice.
Yeah.
You know, a few years later, and oh yeah, yeah, that's of course that's me.
Yeah.
It was really neat.
Look how far we've come.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was like yeah, and you're gonna say something we don't know. You know, it was really neat though, really really cool to it didn't even like I can't even say of course it resonated with my heart, but it was more than it was deeper than that. It was a thing that you know. So that's how it struck me. It was very very
Cool.
fun.
Very
And
cool.
just on another note, if you think it's fine, I don't know, whatever, I'll just throw it out. My daughter Jen had called me and said, "Is it your Zoom?" I said, "Yeah," and she said, "Oh, do you want to do an intention?" I said, "Maybe." Give me the intention. So if we want to explore that, we can.
If
That's all. Later at the end, if you're whatever.
Oh, I see. Well, I'll hang on with you. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Okay. Pat?
I forgot to mention this, but when you started doing the God code, my brain said, "Oh, this is hard for you, for you to understand because you're not really, this kind of person." And then I went, "No, I am wisdom.
Come
I am wisdom." And forget that crap.
Yes.
So I was really excited that I went into another, zone. Like I am wisdom. And I remembered, when you were talking, Tina, at the beginning. And I thought, yes, we don't have to say we can't understand it or it's too deep or blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I am wisdom. But I forgot, so I had to share that. Sorry. Don't like to take up the whole meeting.
That's really sweet. That's really sweet. Kathy.
One of the pieces that you had shared that really stuck out was just about that God has hidden himself in us. I can't remember the exact phrases that you had said, but that really jumped out at me as you were sharing and just reminding me of the what it says in the word about the kingdom of God is like a treasure hidden in the field,
Yeah.
you know, and just understanding that treasure that's hidden within us, and that's our sacred self,
Exactly.
and that being able to mine that or recognize that who he is hidden in us is that treasure, and that is the kingdom, and that is
Yeah.
us in relationship with him
Yeah.
in that space. So it's just a really beautiful reminder of that. So thank you.
Well, I thank you for the reminder too, because that really is a sweet little kiss on the whole on the whole thing, isn't it? Wow. We are that treasure. Awesome. Well, you guys, I think you're the best. I love you. Gina, I'm going to stay on with you and of course anyone. Thanks, Susan. Right back at you. Thank you. And yeah. Okay. No one else has got any. I don't want to cut anyone off. All right. Well, may the Lord bless you and keep you, because you know what? He does. He blesses us so much and he keeps us, and we are so safeguarded, and he is in every cell of our bodies. And he makes his face to shine on us. He's gracious to us. He lifts up his countenance upon us, and he gives us amazing Shalom. Nothing missing, nothing broken.